Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Anne, and today I'm bringing you a new reading vlog that I decided on in the spur of the moment. So this reading vlog, if you haven't seen from the title of this video, oh my god, I'm so tired. If you haven't seen from the title of this video, this is a vlog where I'm going to be reading the books that my boyfriend has picked for me. So the other day, I was going to film my November TBR and I just called my boyfriend in, Ryan, and asked him to pick out 3 books for me. And I immediately regretted my decisions because he picked these. And yes, they are on my bookshelves and I do want to read them, but they're not what I wanted to read right now. So, we've got 3 books and I don't know how I feel about them. So the first one is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This is a story about a shepherd boy who is going from Spain to Egypt to find a treasure buried near the pyramids. This is a classic. I don't know much about it. It is the short one on this list, but I feel like this is going to be a dense read because it is a classic. So we shall see. But this isn't even mine. We bought this for my partner to read and he never read it. So now it's on my bookshelf and he picked it for me to read. So that is the first one. And we shall see. There's a little bit of illustrations in here, which is cool. So yeah, we shall see. The next one is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is a dark academia where we're following Alan Lane. Nope. So in this one, we're following Richard Papin joins an elite group of clever misfits at his New England college. It seems he can finally become the person he wants to be, but the moral boundaries he will cross with his new friends and the debts they are responsible for will change all of their lives forever. So this is tiny writing, and it is almost 630 pages. This is Dark Academia. It's going to be my first proper Dark Academia apart from like Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So we shall see, but I'm very intrigued. I've heard a lot of good things about this. So this is the second one. And then the last one that he picked for me was It by Stephen King. We all know what it is. This is a horror novel by the infamous Stephen King, and this is about Pennywise the clown who eats children. And this is over 1,000 pages. So this is one that I'm going to be breaking up into 50 pages at a time and just slowly making my way through this. So yeah. I'm not looking forward to this one. I know I've had it on my shelves for a long time and I've wanted to read it for just as long, if not longer. And I do want to explore more of Stephen King, but this is not what I wanted to read this month. Or ever. I just wanted it on my shelf. So yeah. I remember watching it as a 5-year-old. Yes. My father made me watch it as a 5-year-old and I've been terrified ever since. I don't think I've actually ever rewatched the movies since then because I hated them so much and it scared me for life. But we shall see about this one. I know Stephen King, he's very descriptive. He adds a lot of things that probably shouldn't be in here. There's a lot of words that he uses that probably shouldn't be in here. And I know in this one there's definitely a scene that makes everyone uncomfortable and that definitely should not be involved in this book. But we are here. We are going to read this. And I don't know how long this vlog is going to take me, but we are definitely going to be starting. So I might start this tonight and see how far I get, because if 50 pages, it might be a little bit more than 50 pages. I might have to go to page 55, but it's a start. So I might try and get some of this done today and then go from there. Am I regretting my decisions? Yes. Yes, I am. Is my partner loving his decisions? Yes, yes, he is, because he's going to enjoy watching me struggle through this book. So, here we are. Welcome to the vlog, and let's watch and have a mental breakdown. Okay, I'll update you when I've got some reading done on one of these books. Maybe. Hello. It's time for an update. It's been about a week since I filmed the intro. I don't think I ever did another check-in, but I'm currently reading It by Stephen King. I am 150 pages in and I'm enjoying it. We have our usual Stephen King-esque writing where it's very descriptive. He uses words that we probably shouldn't be using, and there is a lot of trigger warnings in here, so please be aware. Mentions of drug use, sexual assault, domestic abuse. There's a lot of things going in here. I find this very intriguing because I've watched the movies and we start with part 1 when we're following the kids. So I thought that's how we were going to go. But it seems this whole part 1 was them as adults getting the call to say that it's starting again. So if you don't know the premise of it, every 27 years this president comes and starts killing children. And we're following children who survived and are now trying to go back and save it. So I'm at part 2 right now, and we're going back to the children's timeline of when they were younger, which I'm very intrigued by. I am enjoying it. It's definitely moving a lot quicker. I'm getting used to the writing, and I'm very intrigued to keep going. I've got a lot to go, but I finally finished the other physical book that I was reading, so I can read this every night pretty much. So I've gotten 3 tabs in, and I've got all my tabs set up, so like every 50 or so pages, just to try and keep me on track, so at night time I can just go, okay, 50 pages, get it done. But yeah, I am having a good time with it so far. Stephen King, as we all know, or if you don't know, he uses words that we probably shouldn't use. He describes women in a very strange way. There is all of those quirks, and probably not what he should be writing or how he should be writing, but it is how he writes. He is a prolific writer, and I'm definitely intrigued to see how it continues and how far it strays from the movies, because I've seen the movies. I enjoyed the movies, although I haven't watched them in many, many years. So I'm very intrigued to see the original work of it. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading. It is almost dinner time, so my partner will probably start cooking dinner, and I'm just going to keep reading. It is Sunday, so I've got to go back to work tomorrow, but we'll try and get a little bit more into it. Maybe another 100 pages would be great, but we shall see, and I'll keep you updated as I go along. It's been a while, but I'm here to update you on my reading of It by Stephen King. This is taking a lot longer than I expected it to, but I am now this far in. So I am 455 pages into It by Stephen King, and it's a slow journey. I would definitely say reading the 50 pages is definitely a good marker for me, and 50 pages is definitely kind of the best option, because it takes me a while to read those 50 pages because there is so much description, so many character POVs. There's so many different timelines that we're working with, and so many different stories and world building that we're learning about, that it kind of goes off into little tangents about certain things that have happened within Derry and why certain things are happening. Although it is that little bit slower, I am enjoying it somewhat, and I found that this is very, very similar to the movie, the old original movie. I don't think I've watched the new ones. I think I've mentioned that before. I think I watched the first one, part 1, but I didn't watch part 2. But every scene I remember from the movies, which is really, really interesting. So I'm having a good time with that because I can actually visualize everything that's happening, because I have aphantasia,
where I actually can't see things in my brain when I'm reading it. So if you describe a clown to me, I know what a clown looks like, but I don't know the exact thing. Like if you, it's hard to explain, but it's basically if I said picture an apple in your brain, depending on what you see, you have different stages of aphantasia. I can't see anything. But the thing is, because I know what an apple looks like, I know what you're talking about. So when my partner's trying to describe things to me to do with work or with building, because I work in aluminium joinery, he has to draw pictures for me so I can actually understand what he's talking about. I can't just picture it in my brain, whereas he can picture everything in his brain. Very different. But anyway, I think seeing the movie has helped me with this, seeing some of the scenes and making it kind of giving that creep factor, because I've seen the scenes, so I know exactly the kind of vibe that the scenes are having, which I think is great. So I'm really, really enjoying that bit. And I'm also surprised that we move between the then timeline and the now timeline. So when our characters from the then timeline are now coming back to face it again. So I'm very, very intrigued in here. Honestly, not that much has happened. So in the 454 pages that I've read, we have the kids have come together and they've realized that there's something weird happening, and they've all seen weird things within the town. And then we've also gotten to when the adults are coming back together. I've just got to the point where the adults are meeting again for the first time in 20 odd years. So it is a lot of building up to that, but I'm having a good time with it. So yeah, I'm going to continue chipping my way through this, and then I will pick up my next 2 books. It's already the 24th of November, and I'm still on book 1 for this vlog, but it's okay. Everything's taking me a little bit longer lately, but we will get there. So I'm going to edit a video, get it uploaded for Tuesday, and then get my 50 pages read of this for tonight. So let's do that. Did I start this vlog at the start of November? Yes. Yes, I did. Is it now the 23rd of December? Mind your business. I just finished It by Stephen King, and I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. I finished the whole thing, which means it wasn't majorly a disappointment, which is generally what I would give a 2-star read. It kept me intrigued, kind of, but I did end up keep putting it down and like not reading it for weeks. So it would be a 3-star read for me. It's not one that I would recommend from Stephen King. I got to the scene where everyone doesn't like the scene that no one likes, and I agree. I don't like it. It was uncalled for. It was so unnecessary to have that scene in this book, and I just found it's very Stephen King. Like, if you've read Stephen King before, it is very overwritten, it is very descriptive, there's so many things in here that don't need to be in this story. So yeah, it took me well over a month and a half to read this, but we are done. We can tick it off. We are finished. I think I'm going to unhold this one. So yeah, it did make me want to rewatch the movies though, so I might do that at some point. But we have 2 more books that we need to get to in this vlog. I don't know when I'm going to be reading them, so I will get to them as soon as I can, and I will update you when I've got some more updates. But we are finished. Thank the Lord. It was a push to get this done in the last few days. So, Stephen King, but It by Stephen King, we out. I don't know what I'm doing. We are finally on book 2 of My Boyfriend Picks My TBR. So this is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and this is a classic from what I know. Everyone loves this book. This is the 25th year anniversary edition, and yeah, I am 50 pages into the story and I'm liking it so far. I thought it was going to be a lot more harder to get into but it's really not, which is really surprising to me. It's very easy, very simple writing, and we're just following this young boy who is going on an adventure trying to find treasure in Egypt and following his journey. And from what I've seen in the introduction, it's basically a metaphor for finding happiness and realizing that it's been with you this whole time, sort of thing. Let's have a quick look. At the end of his journey, the man realizes the treasure was him the entire time. So it's just a huge metaphor for life and finding happiness and realizing that happiness is inside you, not external factors, really. I'm enjoying it. It's very simple writing, very nothing is hard to understand, which is great. So I'm on page 50. I've got 120 pages left because it is quite a short one, so I'll definitely be finishing this one today, and then I'll be picking up book number 3 for this vlog, and this vlog will also be finished, which is great and exciting. We are kicking off the new year with finishing vlogs. So I'm gonna go, I'm gonna continue reading. Talk to you soon. Back with another reading update. So yesterday I finished The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and I think I'm going to give this a 3-star read. So this is a very simplistic story, and it is definitely very heavy-handed with the metaphor, I would say. This took me a long time to actually read. Like, it took me a day to read it, and it took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to, because I just found myself kind of, my mind wandering a little bit. I didn't feel connected to the character. I didn't feel much connection to anything within the story, but it is definitely something that I think that upon reread and possibly kind of breaking it down a little bit more, I would get more out of it. But yeah, it's very heavy-handed with the metaphor, and yeah, it was a fun, it was a short read. I did like the little illustrations that were dotted throughout that represent something within the story, so I thought that was really, really good. So we are 2 books down for this vlog, so I will be picking up the next book very, very soon. Let me go grab it. It's over on my shelf. Bye. This is another chunky boy, but I think it's going to go a little bit quicker than it did. This is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is a dark academia story. I don't really know much about it. I don't even think it even gives me a synopsis. So, when Richard Papin joins an elite group of clever misfits at his New England college, it seems he can finally become the person he wants to be. But the moral boundaries he will cross with his new friends and the debts they are responsible for will change all of their lives forever. The Secret History recounts a terrible price we pay for mistakes made on the dark journey to adulthood. So I'm very, very intrigued to check this one out. But the writing is tiny. This is the Penguin Classic Edition, so it is quite small. It's more of a mass paperback size. So I will definitely be picking this one up as soon as I can, probably this evening, and I will come back with a couple more updates as we go through. Hello. It has been a hot minute since I updated this vlog, but I have made progress in The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This book is a smart person book, so I am taking my time with it, and there's a lot of information going in here. There is a lot of sentences and things that I have to Google and kind of translate, because there is a lot of sentences in Latin and Greek and things like that. But I am 433 pages in, which is massive progress, but as you can see, I'm still nowhere near finished. But I thought I'd finally come and update you with this one. I did put this down for quite a while because I had a lot of other things going on, so I've been definitely focusing on it the past week, and I've been making some really, really good progress. This is definitely not the type of book that I was expecting to be reading when I'm training for my new job. So I'm basically coming home and I'm like, my brain is mush. So this is definitely not the type of book that I should be reading, but I'm really enjoying it. At the beginning, I wasn't sure if I was actually going to like this at all, and I am really, really enjoying it. There is so much these characters are so obnoxious. They are so pretentious. There is just so much
going on in here, and I know that I've probably missed a bunch of stuff reading this, because I definitely feel like it is a very smart person book where you have to like break down every single sentence, but it is really, really good. I am a bit unsure about certain words that are used within here in certain phrases. I know that this is set in like the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and it is definitely of that time, with discussions of LGBTQIA plus, with BIPOC characters, things like that. So it's definitely has those aspects, and I don't know how I feel about it. So I think I'm going to be doing a bit more research and discussing this with some Black creators just to see where they stand with this book. But certain things have made me a little bit uncomfy, but I don't know if the author believes this, or is this just the characters, especially with the discourse that is happening on Threads and Instagram and TikTok about Sophie Lark at the moment. So this is definitely sort of kind of niggling at the back of my mind with those sentences and words being used. So yeah, I'm almost finished. The plan is to finish it this weekend, so I'll definitely be updating you some point this weekend with a final review of all the books that I've read for this vlog, which is only 3, but this has taken me a lot longer than I expected to read. But my partner did pick some pretty chunky books for me, so especially It by Stephen King. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get some work done, and then I will definitely jump into reading and try and finish this book this weekend, which would be a big tick in my books. Alrighty, goodbye. Alrighty, hello. I finished The Secret History last night, and this took me quite a while to finish, but I did finish it. And I'm very wary of talking about this book and talking about it in this vlog, but I think that it is important. I did a lot of research and I had a lot of thinking about this book after I finished it, and I will not be talking about this book anymore. I won't be talking about Donna Tartt anymore, mainly because I do find that a lot of the racist slurs, homophobic slurs that are in this story don't need to be in there. I know that this is written in 1992, and I know that racism is not okay no matter when it was written, and I really don't believe that no one was pulled up on these racist comments, no one was pulled up on these homophobic comments or anything like that. So I definitely don't think that it was needed in the story, especially with all this Sophie Lark thing happening right now. Reading this made me really, really uncomfortable, and I really had to delve deep into why it was making me uncomfortable. And because it was such a long story and it was taking me a long time, I had to go back and kind of check where I was marking things and going, oh yikes, this is making me uncomfortable. And just sitting down and realizing that no, none of this stuff in here is right. It shouldn't be in here. And I know that there has been newer editions of this book that have taken those words out, but still it doesn't need to be in here. So I'm definitely not even going to be rating this book. I'm not going to be talking about this book anymore, and that is that. But we are finally at the end of this vlog. So yeah, I read The Alchemist, and then I finished and read Stephen King, It by Stephen King. And again, Stephen King is the same with his stories and his choice of words. So I did read 3 pretty much older stories, 3 classics in their own right. And yeah, I just feel a little bit uncomfortable with everything that's happening at the moment, and I'm really trying to be aware of racism and be aware of things that are written in stories that shouldn't be there, and kind of making sure that I am understanding of why these things are making me uncomfortable, and understanding that these shouldn't be in stories. And I will definitely be more aware of the authors that I'm recommending and talking about within my books. But anyway, a little bit of a downer for the end of this vlog, but I think it is really, really important that we are talking about diversity, we're talking about racism, and making sure that we are standing up as allies for our BIPOC community. And that is the end of the vlog. So make sure you give this video a like, comment down below anything that you have thoughts on, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Bye.